Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setups for today. So we are top of range as far as I'm concerned. We're back in this zone, and you can see we've had a bit of a rejection here. Oscillators are pointing up quite nicely to the upside. All intents and purposes, we're still trending higher. We haven't really come back and tested this zone properly. I suppose we could argue that there's been quite a few tails there, but I would have preferred a little bit of a deeper pullback than where we are now. Nevertheless, strong move up, range. The longer it stays in the range, the higher the probability of it going anyway. So in other words, you can just as well toss a coin here to see whether we're going to break through or return to the bottom. So nothing really there on the 8 hour. If you look at the 3 hour, I mean, last week was just crazy. Look at this. Big down, big up, big down, big up, big down, big up. So we eventually ended up with a weekly hanging man. So that's the third hanging man in a row. Look at the oscillators here on the weekly. This is scary for me. This is really, really scary. I don't see how we can push. We may push a little bit higher, but in all intents purposes, we need some kind of a reset in order for this thing to get going properly. And when you look at that on the weekly, that becomes very dangerous. If you get down to the 3 hour again, and you see we do have a rejection here going into the close. That was probably just profit taking from the people buying the bottom of the range late in the week. Or put all your eggs in one basket, take the bottom of the range and aim for the top. It's a 254 point gain, and you probably find a situation where you have it like a 30 or 40 point stop loss. So yeah, nothing really we can add here from Friday's component. So there's two things brewing here if you look at the hour. The first one is we do potentially have a flag brewing, but then you would be well advised, or should I rather say, you should expect, if this flag continues, I'd expect it to bounce off 15947 or 15919. Oscillators are separating a little bit on the hour, so I would expect some kind of structure lower down. If that can hold, then we're going to have another attempt at this little level that we're at the moment, which is 15990, and I'm actually just going to round this off to 16,000. So that is the big level, 16,000. You can see we come back. I want a bit of a deeper pullback, something down to 15919. That would give me a fairly decent opportunity. You're going to get like a 30-point stop loss for a 70-point gain on this at the moment. So that is kind of what I would be expecting. Not so sure that that is going to materialize. We're going to have a bit of a quiet session with the UK on holiday today, so you need to pay attention to that. But that's kind of the only setup that I can see at the moment. A deeper pullback down here would be interesting, and I can add in another one on the 15 minutes because there's quite a bit of structure there, as you can see, which lined up with the 155. So that would be 15892, which would probably be I prefer that as a pullback, and then you're looking for a move back to test the highs of Friday. And as I say, the weekly to me is not something I want to be paying too much attention to. Let me rephrase that, sorry. So the weekly is scaring me, and this basically means that I'm really scared of going long in this zone here. There's a lot of support here, but I'm just really scared of us going long. But that being said, we're not dropping. So it's 3 weeks in a row that we've tested the bottom, and we've got 3 hanging men in a row. So shorts should only come into play breaks below 15,711. So until then, we should still continue buying, as crazy as it sounds, but that is kind of the view that I've got at the moment. So yeah, nice pullback, decent price action, well worth taking the trade. just keep your stops tight because anything can happen. And just if you look at this on the daily, you get a little bit of a different picture, right? So the diversions is here, but now you're starting to turn. It hasn't crossed over yet. So when you look at it on the daily, it's strong move up, range, and you're expecting a break higher. But your weekly is a bit of a different picture, and then your 8 hour is a bit of a different picture. So 8 hours top of range at the moment, no real view of it going higher. Anyway, long it is, that's kind of the short and sweet of it. Wait for the pullback onto structure. Wait for price action to show you that it is going to happen. Put the trade in, keep the stop as tight as possible, and then as soon as it gets moving, and after the first pullback on the 15 minute, so in other words, the first fractal that gets created on the 15 minute, move the stop up to entry, and just take profits at the high here again. The converse of this is if it breaks this little structure, come back and find support here, it's probably worthwhile looking for the breakout, but it's going to have to be a strong break for me to take it. I'm not going to take just a little, we saw some earlier in the week here. You can see it was like a one bar with a big tail here, then immediately pulled back. So I'm not going to be interested in something like that. It's going to have to rally a couple of bars past and then come back before I'm convinced that we have the breakout here. Anyway, that's it from me. Long it is, just pay attention to your levels, wait for price action, and take the trade. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.